and wallow in sorrow, and watch some amazing StarCraft. So today, we are having the rematch of KT versus Khan. That's right. Somebody said in the chat already, wait, didn't they just play? They did indeed just play. I think it was on Saturday. But, because it was on Saturday, which means it was like the last day of round 2, and today is the second day of round 3. So, just by dumb luck or whatever, they decided to have a rematch. Which is awesome, because the first series from Saturday, which I'm going to spoil, by the way, because it's been, what, like 3 days? And also it would be difficult to say interesting things without spoiling that series. Yeah, so that one went 3-2 in favor of Khan, which put them tied in first place with KT. But not really, though, because they take into account the individual game scores. But they're both 9 and 5, I think, right now. Or 9 and 6. I think 9 and 5. So basically, whoever wins this match will take the #1 spot in the rankings, which would be really awesome at the start of round 3, because then you're getting yourself in a really comfy position to basically guarantee yourself a spot in the playoffs. Anyway, we're going to get started here with Action versus Stork, and I am super excited, because even though perhaps Action is no longer, or maybe he never was really, the same caliber God, I keep fumbling that word. I think I did that last week too. Anyway, he's not really the same caliber of player as Stork, but last week he played against Jangbi, and he proxy hatcheried into like Sunken Spore Lurker contained Jangbi, which was like super awesome. And then Jangbi was like even more awesome and built 2 robos at his natural and just like started mass bumping Reavers. So that was a really fun game. Stork, on the other hand, played a very cool game against Flash. It started off being quite one-sided and depressing, but then Stork decided to redeem himself somewhat and pull off some of the most amazing Reaver micro I've ever seen, followed by building a Scout. He decided to compound awesomeness with more awesomeness. Despite not being able to read Korean, I'm pretty sure I know what that sign means. That guy is going to join us in the Forever a Drone Club. We should all, I want everybody, if you're laddering today, everybody should switch to Zerg for a day. And I guess like just cheese on the ladder or something, like just go Hydro Bust people until you feel better or something. Seriously, like girls will be, you know, will be like curled up on the couch, like eating ice cream and watching Lifetime movies and crying themselves to sleep, and us Broodor fans will be Hydro Busting ourselves to sleep. That's like the equivalent of eating too much ice cream, I guess. And it's a lot healthier for you as well. So, looks like we have Overpool from Action. Gonna sneak his drone around the side, doesn't want to get probe blocked, but I don't think Stork actually sent a probe out yet, did he? I wasn't paying attention. That was kind of an awkward Did you see that? That was like the most half-hearted wave I've ever seen. He was like waving in such a way that he absolutely did not want to get spotted by the camera, and then he did anyway. Probably because he has a hot girlfriend, but you know, what are you gonna do? Anyway, it looks like we have just a blind Forge and then Nexus from Stork here. He's not gonna bother scouting at all, and since it's cross map against an Overpool, this is gonna be perfectly fine. This is actually a pretty nice situation for him, and especially since it looks like Action didn't even invest in 6 Lings anyway, he just made some drones. And a single pair of Lings. Meanwhile, I do see a drone heading out towards the bottom left on the minimap. Probably just going to throw down a 3rd base there at the natural. And looks like Probe Guy is going out just now. So, yeah, interesting choice by January to lead off with Stork today. Busting out the big guns in set number 1. I mean, it always feels a little bit of a risky move to me to send out your best player first. Because what happens if you just get unlucky and you just get like randomly sniped? And then you're down 0-1 having lost your best player? Like that happened to STX recently, didn't it? They like sent out Bogus and he just died. And then STX was just like, oh damn. Like what do we do now? I think Mustajo was there too. That was quite funny. Speaking of which, I haven't done a dual cast in a couple of commentaries. think it's just because like I just haven't been preparing at all. I just go online like 10 minutes before, after playing Amalur or whatever. Oh, but I wasn't doing that today, guys. I wasn't doing that today. I was actually on a date with a pretty lady. I wish. No, I actually just like worked late today, so I just got home, had a sub, and got ready to watch some Broodor. Anyway, Probe Guy's gonna get in here, gonna see the lair, nothing out of the ordinary. The hatchery was planted at the bottom left, as I thought. And looks like Stork gonna go out for some Zealot harass here. It's gonna be cross map, so it's gonna take a little longer for that guy to get over there. Oh no, he's actually gonna go scout the top right. Okay, never mind. He's actually not gonna go harass. He's actually gonna go check for the third base. Obviously, if he sees the third base at the top right there, he'll be able to poke some drones with his side blades. But there's not gonna be anything there. But he would assume then, I guess, that it'll be at the bottom left. I don't know, is he going to send out a second Zealot? Yeah, it looks like Zealot guy doesn't see anything there, he's going to go back. It's interesting that he decided to scout to the top right, so, I mean, he knows his opponent's cross map, so does that mean the Khan Zergs would usually take the vertical natural as their third, rather than the horizontal? Because presumably Stork would send his Zealot where he thinks it's more likely that the Zerg is planted as third. And on a map that's not like rotationally symmetric like this one, there is a difference between taking the horizontal natural and the vertical one. Like the vertical one in this position, obviously you can see it's closer. I'm pretty sure closer by ground as well as by air, although I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyway, looks like Stork does go in for the Zealot harass, but is not going to get a single drone here. Nice drone pulls from Action. But I mean, Stork did deny a little bit of mining time, and looks like he's blocking up his natural there. Going to go scout out with the Corsair. Pretty standard stuff. And looks like Action is playing a standard 3-hatch Spire build. No indications of a proxy hatch again. Although I don't know if it'll be quite as effective on this map. On Jade, well, actually, having said that, I'm not sure because I think the cliff by your natural goes out quite far. Is that right? I'm curious to see exactly how far out the cliff goes and also exactly where on the map is buildable. Because I guess a lot of the space outside the natural isn't buildable either, so I'm not even sure if it would be viable on this map. Not that it's usually a suggested strategy anyway. It looks like a random Overlord guy at the top right gets lucky there and doesn't get spotted by the Corsair. Although those Scourge were out in time anyway, so it wouldn't have made a difference. Stork would have had to run away. First DT is out. How good is Action's reaction time? Looks like loses just 2 links, so not so bad. And ooh, he's actually hidden some links at the top, but unfortunately for him, they get spotted by the Corsair, of course. Those were counterattack links, so if Stork decided to do any early Zealot pressure or anything, moving out with a handful of Zealots, Action could have just counterattacked, and it would have been quite effective with only 1 cannon there. We've been seeing Zergs do that increasingly in this matchup this season, doing these interesting counterattacks when the Protoss moves out with their Zealots. So, Stork's got his DTs wandering around the map. Action shouldn't take too much damage from these, if he's at all competent. Oh, interesting location for that second gateway. Where's the pylon that's powering that? That's interesting. Anyway, looks like Action made a ton of Scourge. I don't know if that was necessary. Wait, are those even... How many Scourge did he actually make? He might have misclicked. I want to see exactly how many Scourge he has. Maybe he only made 6, and we just got this, a shot of them twice. Not sure. But either way, Stork is actually going for Corsairs, so they will become useful eventually. And wow, he actually made a lot. So presumably he actually either suspects or saw that Stork was making a lot of Corsairs here. I'm not sure which it was. I don't recall him actually seeing the Stargate constantly making stuff. And ooh, looks like a bit of a mistake here from Action, losing all these links to the front. Oh man, he's not even going to save one. Oh, takes them all out. And as soon as they all go down, Stork immediately moves out with the Zealots. As soon as Action no longer has vision of that front, Stork takes advantage, and this is going to force Action to make a couple of extra creeps perhaps than he wanted to. Maybe spend a few more larvae on Lings, since of course he lost like an entire control group there to that DT. He's got a bunch of speedlots barreling down to his third here, and he might actually lose this. The extra sunken colonies are not finished. There's actually one placed in the mineral line, which is a very interesting location for a sunken colony. Of course, just from the architecture of the base, that might be a good idea because the sunkens behind the wall there are a little bit far from the back of the mineral line, so it might be easy to deny that with like you know, a couple of zealots back there out of range of the sunkens. So perhaps having that one in the mineral line was a good idea. Also handy for stacking, but is it gonna matter here? I mean, the mutas are out, so these zealots are eventually gonna die, but they have a ton of HP and they've killed a lot of drones here. So even if they go down, I think the damage has been done. Stork, I mean, looks like there's about 6 or 7 drones left at the base. The Stork definitely got a decent number of drone kills. And that, of course, also did buy time for him to prepare for the Muta counterattack. Although he still only has one cannon in his main base. He did use his Corsairs just now to attack. I'm not sure how many got Scourged there. Looks like only a couple of Scourge hit before he ran away. I was actually focused on the Zealots there. The Corsairs just like randomly came in and poked something. Hey, it looks like he's still got about 5 or 6 Corsairs. Presumably 6. Yeah, looks like he does have 6. And oh man, gonna do some nice damage on these mutants here. He's gotta be careful about the Scourge, but the Scourge are all clumped up. That is a bad move by Action there. Having those all clumped up, they can easily just get like 2-shotted, or 1-shotted even, by those Corsairs. In which case the mutas will just be sitting ducks. And interesting. Oh, was that on purpose? The probe that he's using to stack those Corsairs, by the way, isn't actually trapped behind the minerals with 2 pylons. He actually trapped it in the top left corner of his base with a pylon in the archives. I don't think I've actually ever seen something like that before. That's actually quite an interesting use of the buildings there. I mean, it's not like it's, you know, makes a huge difference, but it's just like a cool little subtlety there. I mean, I often trap my probes there by accident, so for him to do that on purpose is quite cool. Anyway, looks like Corsairs moving in again. There's 2 Archons underneath. Action's got to be so careful not to engage over those Archons, and that is a ton of Corsairs as well. Oh my god, Action probably wishes he had a lurker or 2 right now, but obviously having invested in the Mutatech already and so many Scourge, there's no way he has enough gas for that yet. Stork, by the way, has a really nice supply lead right now, 118 to 66. He's got a 50 supply advantage already. And oh, gonna grab a few of these Scourge for free. Might get another few with the Archon shot. Nope, not quite. Overlords, wow, a bunch of Overlords in the middle of the map. Is that a miss rally or something? Why are there so many random Overlords here? Oh my goodness, Action making a pretty silly mistake here, and obviously they don't have Overlord speed yet. That's quite common. When you go for Mass Muta Scourge, you don't get the early Overlord speed. Looks like a couple of Corsairs get caught out there, separated from the pack, and Stork now going to go for the bottom left base. By the way, notice Stork's army movement has been really nice this game. He keeps bouncing back and forth between the bottom left base and the bottom right base, so Action never really quite knows where he's supposed to be to defend the attack, and but looks like now Stork is committing. His Corsairs are a little bit out of position, but he's just got so many Zealots, it doesn't even matter. Where are the Archons? What are the Archons doing? Oh, it looks like the Archons were a little bit out of position on the north side, but a lot of Scourge going in here. Stork losing every single Corsair except for 1, but it doesn't matter. There's way too many Zealots on the ground, still 1 Archon surviving, and Action is going to lose his 3rd base here, which is going to make his 4th base at the bottom left main extremely vulnerable. Meanwhile, Stork has actually already gotten his 3rd base up with cannons defending. And I think this is basically game over now for Action. He's going to lose all the hatcheries there. He's not got any counterattack prepared to take down Stork's 3rd. He's just still on the defense. Is he going to get... Oh, taking a huge shot from the Archon. He's going to try and abuse this cliff. And actually, the Archon's getting stuck by those Zealots and the egg there. Wow, that was that... I wonder if the Archon was actually already stuck by the egg, or it was actually the Zealots that also got it stuck. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Another Archon's going to come in here and get another big shot off. +1 carapace finish for the air, but it's not... you know, it's clearly not helping. Anyway, here comes the attack force of Stork. Stork just not letting up the pressure here one bit. And looks like Action's not even going to try and micro down that Archon. If you have good Muta control and there's only 1 Archon, you can micro it down with good Muta micro. It's quite difficult, but it can be done. And it looks like Stork is actually just going to expand yet again here. Might as well, right? I mean, Zerg's on 2 bases, so you might as well take 4 bases as a Protoss. I mean, why not? Seriously. That's how I like to play. Anyway, looks like Action has gone with the Mass Scourge school of thought here. Which, I mean, looks like he's going to gain momentary control over the Protoss main. Did Stork actually even make any more Corsairs? Looks like he's going to lose 1 as it comes out of the Stargate. He does have some High Templar here. Oh man, if you get some good storms off, that'll be it. Action is paying attention to his mutas though, so it's unlikely that they'll do too much damage. Meanwhile, Stork just going to deny this 3 o'clock, doing an excellent job. And Action sees a bunch of cannons there. Yeah, no way he can harass that base. Ooh, very nice job by Stork, actually. Look at that, placing Zealots at all of the possible expansions. Mass Storm all over the place. You know, I mean, this is basically all Action has left is these mutas. He needs these to do insane amounts of damage if he wants to win the game. So I don't think he'll be careless enough to let them get stormed. It's like one guy getting picked off with a, or by a Dragoon. January looking bored. And I mean, Action's gonna try his hardest here with these mutas, but I don't think even Jaedong Muta Micro could save him now. And ooh, look at this. 4 Zealot drop in the main base. Is he gonna take down the Spire? Is he gonna right-click the Spire or go after the drones? Looks like one guy's on the Spire, the other guy's on drones. That's an interesting decision. Is that on purpose? Okay, yeah, now it looks like he's gonna focus down the Spire. So he got a handful of drones and now he's gonna get the Spire as well. It's pretty good. And looks like going to get the spawning pool as well. That's actually going to be quite close. I don't think he'll get it though. Yeah, looks like the Hydras do come back, and Action continue to do some muta harass. The 9 o'clock base is going up. I'm a little bit surprised Action hasn't seen that, just even on accident. Flying his mutas around behind the natural there. That base is still quite vulnerable, as you can see. Only a couple of cannons there. But presumably Stork's ground army is stronger than Action's anyway, so it'll be fine. Yeah, look at that. Ton of Protoss units coming out. +2 finished for Stork. And it's just a matter of waiting for Action to GG at this point. Stork looking pretty calm. Knows he just has to, you know, play safe and finish out the game. Although, having said that, he did take a pretty greedy 4th there at the 9 o'clock. Somewhat justified, given how much pressure he was putting on the Zerg. But not really necessary. I mean, you know, he was already up 1 base over the Zerg. Does he really need to be up 2 bases? You know, that's like backwards. Zerg's supposed to be up a base over Protoss. So, not 100% necessary. And it looks like we might have the final engagement here. Action just going to go with Mutas and Hydras. Yeah, not even close. GG from Action. Stork taking set number 1, but not an unexpected result, I think. Of course, Khan's star player coming out against kind of a mediocre Zerg. I mean, I feel bad, because I used to be a huge fan of Action when, you know, he was on form and, you know, playing solid, long ZVTs against Flash. I mean, those were the good old days. Unfortunately, Action is no longer that player. But he still provides amusing games every now and then, as we saw last game. Or, sorry, last week. So, Khan leads 1-0, and let us go on to set number 2. Alright, set number 2 is going to be P7 Gab, aka Wookie. I think I should just call him Gabby or something.